Hey everyone, so I promised you all a testimony of my personal experience coming to Christ, so I'll just start out with that. A few years ago, actually it wasn't that long ago, I have to say probably starting last December, I began filling myself with a lot of darkness, and it was bad. But it started out kind of slow, but the more I read things that weren't books that were horrible and dark, and the more I read those things, the more I watched different movies and different things that were just horribly dark and wrong and sinful. The more I did those things, the more I kept going and going and doing more and doing more, and I became a slave to them, and I knew that I was filling myself with things I really that really I shouldn't be doing. But at that point, my conscience was just fried. I had no conscience. I didn't. From a young age, I have been a Christian. I've been saved since I was probably 4 years old, and at the time I really didn't know exactly what I was doing, but I did know that I wanted the Lord to be with me. So I think I probably got truly saved in my heart when I was about 6 or 7. But even though I grew up in a Christian home and I had Christian parents who loved me, and I didn't feel like that was enough. It was more of it was more religion than anything else. It wasn't a relationship, it was religion and doctrine, and that wasn't working for me. So I thought God must be a boring person and must be just a bore, so why I don't really want to do much for him, because all he does is expect us to read his word and obey it and not have any fun. That was my mindset. So I started to stray away from God, and that's when I began filling myself with those dark things. And at the time, my parents were legally separated, so I didn't have my dad around. I lived with my mom, and she was going through a lot of stressful situations, obviously, because my dad left, and then financial situations. So I was just kind of stuck in the balance, and since my mom had so many things to take care of, I apparently, I was old enough where I could take care of myself, so I assured her I was fine, because I didn't want her to spend more time with me than she had to, because I knew she was busy, and she was willing to do it, but to spend a lot more time with me, even though she had a lot to do. But I assured her I was fine, because I didn't want her to worry, and I wanted to be okay by myself. So I started to get into this. I started to get lower and lower into self-depreciation. I really didn't like myself anymore. Life wasn't worth living because there wasn't anything to look forward to. I mean, sure, I'm going to heaven when I die, but I don't want to. Can I die now? I really was thinking a lot of suicide thoughts, because there just wasn't any point to life anymore, so I thought. Then, and so I still got deeper into darkness, and then one day I had this revelation that I didn't think about too heavily at the time, but I had this vision of myself standing in this battlefield with a shield and a sword. And I remember my spirit feeling so clean and powerful, and I thought I could be like that. But at the time, I had no idea how I could be that way. So I just continued living the way I was until one of my friends introduced me to Claire, Still Small Voice channel, and Claire and Ezekiel, and I started listening to them, and I'm like, how would she know anything about what I'm going through? How does she hear from the Lord? That's just absurd. Because from all the things I've heard, the only way that God spoke to us was through His written word, right? So, because I mean, a lot of churches teach that, and that's what I'd believed for a long time. And then finally, and I started listening to what she was saying, and something in my spirit clicked. Yeah, this is true. So I just continued listening, and I started to apply what she had said, and now because this was only, I swear, like, this was only March of this year when I started listening to her, March or April. So it hasn't been that long, and now I'm determined to do whatever I can for the Lord, but I can't seem to fall away as much as I want to. I want to be dead to myself, just kind of how Paul was talking about in like Romans and 1 Corinthians and different places, how we need to be dead to ourselves, but once we're dead, we don't have to come back up. Like baptism, when he was talking about baptism, I can't tell you exactly where it was in the Bible because I haven't memorized it yet, but I do remember reading it. And so I wanted to die to myself, and I still do, but I really don't know where to begin, I guess. I guess I was expecting to just, as soon as I started being more diligent for the Lord, that everything would just fall into place. But for so many years of just practicing like anger and being rebellious, because I was a very rebellious person for a few years. Like, that was never my personality before. I've never been rebellious, but like last year and parts of this year, I was a rebellious person. I hated my life so much. I hated God. I didn't want anything to do with Him. So I knew He was real, and I knew the Bible said He loved me. But if He loved me, why was in the situation I was in? And now I couldn't be any more grateful, because if what happened hadn't happened, I know that I would never have found Claire, and I would never be in the relationship with Jesus that I have now, even if it is faulty because of me. But all I can do is ask, thank you all for your prayers, and just ask the Lord to help me, because I know there isn't anything I can do on my own. Wow, that was not from me. That was the Holy Spirit talking to me this whole time, through me anyway. Thank you guys so much for listening, and that's my personal testimony, and I hope you can get something from it. And God bless you all, and have an awesome day in Him.